go out in the sand. That's my favorite kind of land. Back into that desert dream. I have everything I need.
In late February of 2020, I took a 22-hour bus to Tucson, where I met up with my PCT friends Couscous and Fievel. We made our way to the Mexican border and began the 800-mile Arizona Trail. There is nothing like the first day on a thru hike. All on-trail worries faded away, and I started to slip into the blissful calm of hiking. We took in the foreign land around us, quickly climbing from the desert floor up to a sky island, and then down again. As we walked north, we marveled at how incredibly varied the terrain had been. The trail changed from flat grasslands to sky islands to dry desert. It felt like we were walking through a new world every few miles.
How are you feeling so far?
I feel pretty sore, but I feel pretty good.
How are you feeling about the hike so far?
Pretty stoked.
Something that stood out to us was the exceptional condition of the Arizona Trail. We joked that it was like a red carpet. This is evidence of the thousands of hours of hard work by the AZTA and volunteers. Signs would warn of upcoming road crossings, ornate gates were quickly replacing old wire ones, and an overhang was even built to protect hikers from falling debris under the railroad tracks. We met a lot of wonderful people from Arizona, a few gracious trail angels, and many bikers and section hikers, slowly piecing together the whole trail.
We're about 60 miles into the trail, 65 miles in. Yeah, it's really pretty so far.
It's nice to be out here before thousands of people start hiking this trail.
Couscous?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the trip so far?
Everything more than last time you asked.
100 or so miles in, we saw our first saguaro, and we stood in awe for a few minutes. All of a sudden, we were in a saguaro forest. Unfortunately, Fievel got a call, and he had to return to work. We said our goodbyes and continued on, up and over Mount Mica and Mount Limon, two beautiful sky islands towering over Tucson.
The trail's changed quite a bit in the last couple miles. We got way up and fresh layer of snow last night. Just started snowing. It's hailing pretty hard. Another beautiful sunset on the AZT. Back on trail after Tucson. 200.
It took a couple days, a couple slow days, and then never had a problem again after that.
There weren't many thru hikers on trail in early March, but we were lucky to meet usufruct trees. We hiked with him across the vast flat desert where temperatures crept up into the triple digits.
By 3, so we don't have to fight.
"10 days in, we had slipped into a good rhythm. Adaptation to living outside reaches a level that would not be possible on a weekend hike. Sleep gets better and better, and your gear becomes almost an extension of your body. You know exactly where everything is in your pack, and you feel very comfortable."
On strong. Yeah, this trail's really nice.
At a bar in a small town, we met a man named Timothy who took an interest in our hike. "But why are you out here?" he asked us over and over again. "What is the point if you are not trying to set a record?" We told him about how many different parts of Arizona we had seen and how we had witnessed every sunset and every sunrise. We saw the grassland turn to saguaro and then to mountains. "What does it matter?" he shrugged. "I could drive up that mountain in my car and see the same thing." It rained for 4 days straight. The desert is beautiful in the rain. The liminal creeks came to life and clouds danced around the Superstition Mountains. While we did not see Timothy car camping on top of the mountains, we thought about what he had asked us as we walked through the rain for the next few days. What compelled us to come far from our homes to Arizona, an unfamiliar land for both of us? Ultimately, as I said in my video about hiking the PCT, the trail is greater than the sum of its parts. While you could drive and see some of the highlights of Arizona, there's a certain magic in a long trail that enhances the beauty of all the sights it weaves together. This powerful force compels many to continue hiking more and more trails, sometimes even over and over again. Every step of every long trail is a truly special place. We caught up with Clax, a friend from the Pacific Crest Trail, hiked with him and his group for a few days through rivers and rain.
That's not 50 feet.
What do you think, Couscous? Should we cross it?
I think we cannot take the burn on this one. I think it's something.
Days of rain turned the normally unremarkable East Verde River into a raging monster, 10 feet deep and 30 feet wide. We took a long detour through the town of Payson, where we said goodbye to our friend Clax and continued north, back on the trail. As we climbed up atop the Mugian Rim, we hiked across the Great Flat and muddy forests for multiple days towards Flagstaff. The hot 100-degree desert days earlier on the trail seemed but a distant memory. The miles flew by, and I felt like I was in some of the best hiking shape of my life. We sped forward, excited to reach the San Francisco peaks and the Grand Canyon.
Just past mile 500 today.
As we approached Flagstaff, things went downhill quickly. We got internet for the first time in a while and learned of the rapidly increasing severity of the COVID-19 pandemic. Suddenly, finishing a through hike was the last thing on our minds, and we were very concerned about the quickly deteriorating situation worldwide. Concerned for our friends, family, and humanity as a whole.
Man, it's bad, man, this virus. I might have to leave. It's the end for me, my word, man. Going back home.
Some other time, I'm gonna find a way. Some other time.
Couscous caught the last flight home to Canada before the border closed, and I caught 3 buses back to the Bay Area. I went back to my parents' house for the next 2.5 months to quarantine. Couscous quarantined in Montreal for a few months, and then went up north to plant trees. I started a job in Bishop, and Arizona drifted further and further to the back of our minds. I would think about the trail from time to time, and sadness would wash over me. We were out there walking through the forests of northern Arizona, with the wind in our sails, and everything since had been a nightmare of bad news and terrible tragedy for humanity. Eventually, hope began to creep back in. Things began to reopen. Finally, in 2022, the Canadian border reopened, and Couscous and I planned to resume our hike. We took a bus and 2 trains from Bishop to Flagstaff, and then finally at 4 a.m., 2 years to the day after we had quit the trail, we were back at the Flagstaff train station. We walked north through the snow, elated to be back on the trail after a 2-year intermission. The Arizona Trail is mostly flat, for 200 miles from the Mugian Rim to the Grand Canyon. Then out of nowhere, the Colorado River carves this large gash. It is one thing to see it in a car, but walking to the Grand Canyon from Mexico gave me an even deeper appreciation for its beauty.
Oh, man. Breathing.
As we descended into the Grand Canyon, another world greeted us. We saw plants we hadn't seen in hundreds of miles, and the temperature rose rapidly. We climbed 6,000 feet up to the North Rim, giddy with excitement. Every switchback gave us another incredible view. So immersed in the beauty and grandeur of the canyon, and so happy to be back on the trail, I barely felt tired at all on the climb out. stayed that night at a campsite perched high on the north rim overlooking the canyon. The next 40 miles of trail were covered in deep snow, so we gratefully walked on the plowed road instead. At that point, high on the Colorado Plateau, we had only 30 miles of the trail left to savor. We said our goodbyes to the trail and walked north towards Utah. Wow.
You did it, man. Good job. Wow, such a nice trip.
It was, yeah.
2 years apart. I'm happy we came back for this.
Me too, yeah. Beautiful.
Well, I went out walking down the highway, rolling through the land. I stuck out my thumb and I got me a ride. I was picked up by a man. The man said, "My son, where did you come from? I swear I've seen you before." I said, "I am the man who roams through the land to let my spirit soar. I've walked through the deserts, I've roamed through the valleys, I've seen all there is to see. I've swam through the oceans and fought feral demons, but none got the best